BD Protections.
Hell, Claude. You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
Welcome to Before the Kids Wake Up. I'm Claude.
I guess I'm Renee.
You just spent a really long time talking to my mom on the phone just now. I thought that was very nice and sweet of you.
I like your
she's
mom.
lonely and she needs it.
Don't say that about your mom. No, she is not. Your mom has her own wild
She has
life.
Jesus. No, she got a wild life. What do you mean wild life?
Your mom. You don't know what your mom does.
I
Leave
got
your
no-
mom alone.
My mom has no
Leave
wild life.
your
My
mother
mom
alone.
is married to
Claude,
Jesus.
Claude.
You need to watch yourself now. She's married to Jesus.
Leave your mother alone.
You leave your mother alone.
You be wilding out.
How you doing? How it's been a fun week. What's up with the weather? I know it's a weird thing to start a podcast off with, but what's up with the weather? Like,
No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
yeah, it's almost like it's this weird, like we're getting like the winter season. Like normally we get like a little bit of coldness and it's just it's like rainy and it's cold and it's sideways rain.
And we live in Florida, so we don't have to deal with this.
So it's like a little bit like little icicles just pegging you on the side, like wherever you go.
I mean, they're not real icicles.
But it's what they feel like, the rain. on
Only
you.
a Southerner would say they feel like that because you've never
They do. It's
experienced
like
real
I'm sorry.
ones.
It's 50 degrees out right now, and it's raining sideways. They're raining bullets sideways. It feels like you get pelted with little icicles.
Don't be a girl. You'll be all right.
Says the woman that goes out during. Oh, okay, all right. Yes, I got to tell the people this. So what day was that? Was that like Tuesday? It was Wednesday.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Tuesday we
was
had
Tuesday.
a severe weather warning in our area. We live in Central Florida. There was a severe weather warning from there's a big storm system coming in from North Florida that was going to do a nice little band across the state, and we ended up with some legitimate like tornado warnings. Or tornado watches. I think it's a tornado warning. A tornado watch is when there's conditions are good enough for there to be a tornado. A tornado warning is when there's actual sightings of a tornado.
And you're supposed to take shelter.
And you're supposed to take shelter. It says it right on the little thing. The little thing comes and goes, comes up, little flashes
Take
on your phone.
immediate shelter.
You know, it's almost like a child is being stolen, and it literally says take immediate shelter or shelter in place or something like that if you're not in a shelter. My beautiful wife.
Oh, you call me
Gorgeous,
beautiful.
Beautiful wife wanted me to turn on the weather, and apparently I wasn't going fast enough to turn on the weather. What she doesn't understand is that we don't have like natural traditional cable. We have like YouTube TV, so live or whatever it is. So we have to turn the TV on, turn the Fire Stick on, go to YouTube, let YouTube load up, you know, and then I have to find the Weather Channel or the local TV channel that's going to be talking about the weather. So apparently in the
He took way too
30
long.
seconds that it would normally take to do that.
It was more than 30 seconds.
She
It was like
dec-
5 minutes.
She decided that it was taking too long, so she decided to go outside and look for the funnel clouds.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, I'm pointing at the TV, and I'm like, I hear the door swing open, and, you know, the ring goes off, you know, motion detected in your backyard. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I'm like, I just see her out here just staring at the clouds like this, like literally like this, like, where are they? And I'm just like, are you a freaking crazy person? I know that Floridians are crazy, and we do dumb stuff, but I have never in the history of living in this state gone out during a tornado warning and looked for the tornado. It's one thing if you're out having a party and being irresponsible. She's actually out there looking like she's, what was her, Laura Dern, whatever her name was from Twister, walking around like she's like throwing Dorothy up in the sky with the little thing and trying to find twisters.
And ain't nobody yell at her.
And I'm just so baffled at this because not only did she come inside after I'll admit it, I might have yelled at her a little bit. After she came inside, this woman decided to go out in the front.
Oh, because I couldn't get a good view from the backyard.
She couldn't get a good view from
So
the
I had to go in the
backyard. So
front
she
yard.
had to go into our wide open, very nice little area where a tornado could come and lift her up like Dorothy and put her into Oz. It is the craziest thing in my whole entire life. Renee was born March 2nd, 1983 in Champion, Ohio. But on January 10th,
Why you gotta call me out like that?
January 2024, my wife became a Floridian. And it was apparent because she gave no F's about the fact that she could have been lifted off the ground and thrown 3 miles west and made me a widower. But by all means, she needed to see if there was a funnel cloud.
Hey, I wasn't born in Champion, Ohio.
Warren, Ohio.
Thank you.
There you go. Sorry about that. It was all BFE to me. You guys just got a Walmart last week, right?
We've always had a Walmart.
The Walmart is the town hall.
We've always had a Walmart.
Do you have any Targets?
We got a Target.
You got Target Publix?
But there's
See,
no
I'm out.
Publix
No
up
Publix.
north.
Nope, done.
We don't have Publix.
but
We have
yeah.
Giant Eagle.
But yeah, you
We
survive.
have a Giant Eagle.
You survive. What is a Giant Eagle?
It's a grocery store. That's what we got. Giant Eagles.
It's called Giant Eagles.
Giant Eagle.
Giant Eagle.
No
and
S.
And that's like a Publix.
Nothing is as good as a Publix.
So what is it? Like a Winn-Dixie? Aldi?
It's more like an Aldi Winn-Dixie mix.
What is it? Oh, what does that even look like?
I don't know.
So
A
not
Giant
so-
Eagle. When
so-
you come to Ohio with me
I'm not
this
going to
year,
Ohio with you
yo,
this year.
listen, he's
No.
coming this year.
Yeah.
If I gotta drag him.
So here's the thing. Ohio's what? Like a 17-hour drive?
Mhm.
She insists on driving with our kids
Because there's 4 of us. It's cheaper if we drive.
who don't get along in our house,
Mhm.
not moving, with
Right.
tons of things to do like internet,
Correct.
Wi-Fi,
Correct.
air condition, we guess we have air conditioning in the car, and I guess we have Wi-Fi in the car too, but it's not a confined, closed space where they can kind of go do their own thing. You want to put them in a car for 17 hours, drive all the way to Ohio
Mhm.
to see Eagle.
No, I'm gonna take you to the hot dog shop.
You know we got hot dog shops here.
Mm-mm.
Cuban hot dogs.
You don't have
Chicago
hot dog shop
dogs,
like
slaw
we.
dogs.
It's not like our hot dog shop.
Please tell me the difference between your nice Ohio hot dog shop
It's amazing.
in Champion, Ohio versus...
It's amazing. And listen, the hot dog shop from where I'm from does not cost us $50 like the hot dogs did in Chicago.
The hot dogs that we didn't eat, you mean?
I tried to eat them. I ate a couple of them
Yeah.
because I kept waking you up to eat them and you just wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't want the hot dogs.
So
but
funny
the whole
story.
room smelled like hot dogs.
So funny story is that we're in Chicago and I'm like, well, we have to have a Chicago dog. And I feel like it was our last night. Was it our last night or second to last night?
Yeah.
So we get back from going out and I was like, well, let's just order them to our room. And so I ordered somehow $50 worth of hot dogs.
Or you Uber Eats it, which
Right, but
it was like 3 hot dogs and the
no.
service charge
It was
like,
more than 3. I think I was intoxicated when I was ordering them because there was definitely more than
I
3.
think it was too.
So we get them, and I feel like by the time we get them, we're already like half asleep.
I wasn't even hungry.
And I was so hungry. But anyways, so I eat like one, and then I pass out. But then I keep waking up throughout the night, waking Claude up. Like I paid $50 for hot dogs. We have to eat these hot dogs.
This is gonna sound messed up, but she woke me up and she shoved a hot dog down my throat.
Okay. But I feel like we still didn't eat them all.
No, I took 2 bites of it. It was
yeah,
gross.
We ended up throwing them away.
It was gross. They were cold. They were like greasy. The whole room
Because you were
smelled
already
like
asleep.
the whole room smelled like hot dogs.
dog.
The
I
rest of
know,
the trip,
I know.
like, oh my god, it was awful.
I know.
It was terrible.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
I'm sorry, Chicago. Y'all Chicago dogs are gross.
But I don't think we didn't. When we Uber Eats them, we didn't go to the right place.
We didn't get like
It
the
was-
right one.
Mhm.
It wasn't like in New York where we got off the side of the road, and the nasty like boiled water that's just sitting
And
there.
they charged us $20
They
a hot
charged us
dog.
$20 a hot
'cause
dog.
They knew that we had been having drinks, and legit the little cart place on New York, right in front of our hotel, charged us extra. And we know this because the next night when we went back and we were not intoxicated,
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know, $5. And we're
Yeah.
like, wait, yesterday you charged us 20. And so the friend that we were with actually talked him down, so we got a discount the second night. But
But
is
yeah,
what it
no, definitely. I mean, oddly enough, New York nasty boiled hot dogs in the little thing are
So
better, are
good.
better than the actual
So
Chicago dogs.
good.
So, yeah. Anyhow, the
I could
pizza
live
was
in
good
New
in both though. But so anyhow, so yes, Renee decided to go out during the
a tornado.
tornado, and
There
she
wasn't
survived.
a tornado.
There was a
Didn't-
tornado warning, which means that there was conditions favorable
It
to
was
make
not
a
in our
tornado.
neighborhood. It
I'm
wasn't
just
in our
saying,
neighborhood.
You could have been swept away. And so we actually, it's funny, we had a therapy session last Tuesday.
The next day.
The next day. It was the same day, actually.
Wait. Pause.
Okay.
Your order is ready at Rock Hall Cafe.
What
Please
is
head to the pickup area to get it.
what is Rock Hall Cafe?
No idea, but we have an order there.
What is Rock Hall Cafe?
I don't know.
Did somebody order something on your telephone number?
I guess so.
Did you order something?
I didn't
What
order
is-
anything.
could you look, what is Rock Hall Cafe?
I don't know.
Like the Seminole Hard Rock Cafe?
I'm just saying. Somebody put in a wrong number. Anyways, you can continue.
I'm just curious as to what Rock Hall Cafe is. Cafe at the Rock Hall in Cleveland, Ohio. Somebody put your wrong number in.
Well, because my number
Nice.
is still a Ohio number.
Nice. I love it. Can you respond? No?
No, it's
All right,
not.
whatever.
Mm.
But what I was just saying is that we actually had therapy session that same day. Actually, it actually wasn't the next
Oh,
day.
it was the
day.
same
It was
day.
the exact same day.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, guys. I oftentimes, when I am kind of in a panicky moment or when I'm not thinking straight, I do tend to be a little bit harsh or gruff
Mean?
or mean. And I wasn't trying to be mean. I just couldn't understand why this damn fool was outside during the tornado warning, trying to look for the funnel clouds. And then she had the nerve to say, "That's how we do it in Ohio." And I'm like, explain to me why. And this is why y'all the trailer parks get swept up by the twisters all the
I
time.
didn't live in a trailer park.
Oh, that's right. You didn't live in. But I'm sorry. That's. But I was just saying, you said in Ohio, that's what you guys were taught to do. You hear the air raid sirens.
I didn't say that's what we were taught to do. I said that's just what we would do.
So that's what.
You go outside and look, unless it's in the middle of the night, because then you can't see anything. But yeah,
So
it doesn't even look like there's bad weather and all the sirens are going off, you go outside and be like, "Is there really?" Oh, if not, we're fine.
This is the same woman that would hear a noise at night and be like, "Let me go check on it." No, why don't you not go check on it and let either I don't know, the police or the Ring camera or something determine what's outside and not have you get jumped and kidnapped.
Do you see my muscle? Ain't nobody. Mm-mm. And my dogs? Mm-mm.
Oh, they'll
We got
take
this.
you, but they're gonna bring you back real quick. We couldn't get her to shut up. I'm sorry.
You are so sleeping on the couch tonight.
It's comfortable, so I don't
I'm
care.
keeping score right here.
But no, anyhow, we had the session with our therapist, and I was just mentioning that I have a tendency to be harsh when I'm in a situation where I feel panic because I thought my wife was going to get swept up like Dorothy, sent to Oz, and then have to,
you
go
were
through the whole-
afraid or you were hopeful?
I was afraid because despite the fact that you do annoy me a lot, I don't want you to get swept. How do I explain that?
You don't want to replace
How do
me.
how do I give the eulogy at your funeral? Renee was an amazing
You're not
woman,
going to give the eulogy at
an
my
amazing
funeral.
wife, and an amazing mother. And she had just ducked and covered, that twister would have lifted her ass up and taken her all the way to freaking Timbuktu. Like,
Wait,
you know what I'm saying?
you're not going to do the eulogy at my funeral. The husband doesn't do the eulogy.
Why? I can't do the eulogy at your funeral?
No.
Why?
Because.
I can't do the eulogy at your funeral.
No.
Why
Somebody
not?
else should do it, not you.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems like the husband does it normally.
I'm
Because you
sorry.
should be so
Listen.
emotional that you can't do it.
If you do something crazy like getting swept up by a damn twister because you was outside looking
You
for
wanna
funnel
do the
classes,
eulogy
I'm
just so
definitely
you
doing
can
the eulogy,
roast
so
me?
I'm going to roast the hell out of you. Please understand, you're getting roasted the hell out of.
I see.
If you so,
I see
please,
how
I tell you all the time, I want you to die at 99 years old in a bed with me right next to you, surrounded by all of our great grandkids. And
I don't
want to
have great-grandkids. Stop that.
All of our loved ones.
I don't need any kids.
Okay, but please don't get your butts lifted off the ground by a twister because I am going to roast you at the funeral. Anyhow, but so one of the things that our therapist, making this story really long, one of the things that the therapist mentioned or tried to, what we identified is that Renee doesn't like to get told what to do, especially if I'm not communicating in a way that is
Acceptable.
not acceptable. That's conveying that I am telling you what to do, not because I just want to tell you what to do, but because I do care for you and I am fearful of what's happening to you. And I can think of another situation where I did the same thing when we were in New York and Nicholas, for whatever reason, didn't follow us and went in the opposite direction. We thought we lost him. Right.
Oh, yeah.
He got a new butthole, ripped. But it was
Because you thought we lost
we
him.
thought we lost our kid, our
You
9-year-old, and so he was fine. He just turned around the wrong corner. But you hear things about New York and how it might not be safe for little kids. But we did whittle it down to the fact that I am fearful of something happening, and it is my love for you that is causing me to react in that way. And, it's just another thing when we talk about communication is key all the time on the show. And that's just another breakdown of communication.
Yeah.
And I think he gave you a technique to say, because I'll admit, the way you speak to somebody, they do have expectations for that, right? You have an expectation that I'm going to be speaking to you with respect and with care, and to not, be treating you like you're one of the kids. You
Right.
know? And so I think, to alleviate my fears in that moment, what he suggested is to say, hey, listen, I understand that you're coming from a place of care. I understand that you care about me and you love me, you don't want something to happen to me. But I don't necessarily appreciate how you're conveying your message.
I feel like it wasn't that elaborate. It was just to say, I heard what you're saying, but you can't talk to me like that and still come in.
I don't think
That's what I heard.
I don't think it was that like coarse
That's
and
what I
straight.
heard.
Okay, is that
That's
what
I
you
heard.
Okay,
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
That's not exactly what I heard, but communication breakdown yet again, guys. But I guess long story short,
apparently, if there's a tornado warning, don't go outside because your husband will freak out. That's the warning.
yeah,
Mm.
I think that is
So here's the question, though.
What?
Here's the question, to everybody else.
okay.
If there's a tornado warning, do you go out and look for a funnel cloud? That's the question.
I'm trying,
That's just the question. You don't get to have an opinion?
I'm trying to explain to you though that funnel clouds aren't even necessarily a indication of a tornado.
I mean, or
But-
you see a tornado.
But I've just lived in this state for 38 years, and you're a newbie tourist here. Finally cutting your teeth.
What are we cutting our teeth for?
I'm pausing for a second because I feel like we're
No, because our order is ready again at the Rock Hall Cafe.
Can you tell them that this is not us? Or can they send it to us? What do you think it is? Is it like
I
food?
don't know. I hope it's good food.
Food sounds good, even though I just ate a hamburger.
I don't.
Yeah.
You didn't even make me one.
There was only one. And I'm sorry. I was that kind of hunger that I wasn't going to share
You're
it with
getting
you.
hangry.
I was getting hangry. I actually made it in front of you, too, so I don't even know how you missed that.
I was talking to your mom.
Exactly. Anyhow.
What you got today?
Did we finish that? We're done with that thought?
We're done.
Yeah.
What you got?
Have we learned anything else in therapy that we want to share?
Mm,
No? I can't remember. We've had a good week, though.
Had a good week.
Yeah, no, so I think that we had a friend the other day that said something that I thought was pretty interesting about whether they like being single or being not single, right? Not single and single. I guess. What's the word for not single? In a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said they're on the fence, right? I can either be single or not single. But it's more on the lines of I like being single and being able to do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate that everybody else at the end of the day, has somebody else to go home to.
Oh.
And I thought that was really, really interesting because I don't really think that people realize just how much work goes into a relationship. And I know we talk about it all the time on the show, but I don't think people realize that there is a lot. Because even if I'm going home to you at the end of the day, I don't mean I like you. That doesn't mean that I want to deal with you.
I don't like you a lot.
That doesn't mean that I want to, even be involved with you. Sometimes I want to be home and just be alone and not have anything to do with you, and vice versa.
Ditto.
Especially with the kids and work and all of the things that are going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily want that person there at the end of the day. But when you're in a relationship, you really don't have especially in marriage, you don't really have a whole lot of choice.
Yeah.
And so that got me to thinking about high maintenance and non-high maintenance relationships, because your marriage or your serious relationship, or even maybe if it's even a new relationship, is the relationship in your life that's going to be the most high maintenance, or it should be, right?
Right.
Because we always talk about the fact that we do couples therapy, not necessarily because there's something wrong with our relationship, but because we're constantly wanting to check in and do maintenance work.
I mean, well, we want to work on it, right? We want to be better.
Yeah.
We want to be better.
Well, it's like owning a car. You have every year you got to go spend about $1,000 on your car, get your oil changed.
And I'm
get your
sorry,
belts.
everybody should do therapy.
Yeah, I agree with
Everybody
you.
should do therapy.
Yeah, you're always messing with the mic.
I know, but I was looking for the pillow so I could sit back
Why are you sitting back? Just sit up.
because I'm old. My back hurts.
All right, now I got to cut this. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you so much for making more work for me. What is this at the 22 mark?
Anyways, but no. When it comes to relationships, it's just a lot of really hard work.
Yeah,
It's difficult.
yeah. But I think that a lot of people don't realize too, when you're in a relationship, and we talk about high maintenance and non-high maintenance or high maintenance relationships, and you said earlier that your relationship, your marriage or your romantic relationship, whatever you call it, is supposed to be the most high maintenance. But there are other relationships, family members, friends, that can fall under that category as well as high maintenance. And if you don't know what a high maintenance relationship, that's a relationship that requires constant check-ins, constant maintenance, updates,
Constant work.
constant work. And I think as you get older, I think when you're a teenager, it's okay to, because you have the energy, the time, the resources to constantly be like, hey, are we still friends? Hey, are we still buddies? Hey, are we still good? type of
Yeah.
thing. And I think as you get older, especially if you get into a serious relationship, you don't necessarily have as much time to have those type of relationships that constantly need that check-in.
Right.
My favorite type of relationship is the ones where I can have a conversation one day. We don't talk for days, weeks even, and you pick that relationship back up the next time you talk. Because at the end of the day, how do I maintain, this is the question for the show, this episode is, how do I maintain my romantic relationship, my marriage, my serious thing that I'm supposed to be building upon, but also have all these other high maintenance relationships around me?
Well, I think you don't, right? Well, for me, right? You're my most high maintenance relationship next to the children.
I'm high maintenance?
High maintenance in regards to there's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that
Yeah.
has to go into you and I put a lot of effort between you and the kids.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody else, I'm sorry, but if you're my friend and I'm constantly having to do all this extra work, and don't get me wrong, when I say extra work, no, we should still have honest conversations. We should be able to be transparent with each other, but you should also know and respect that I have a family, I have a husband, and that I just can't be at your beck and call. If
Yeah.
you call me, I can't come running. No, don't get me wrong. If you need something, you can call me and I'm going to come running.
Yeah.
But you can't do that daily.
Yeah.
You can't do that every other day. It has to be warranted, and we have to have this respect because you need to know that I have a lot on my plate. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a very interesting. You need to find friends that like fit into that dynamic.
Right. Do you think that changes over time, though?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a much different person now than I was 10 years ago.
Well, you change every 7 years.
Right. But even that, therapy Renee is a little bit different than pre-therapy Renee, right?
Oh my God, pre-therapy.
Knowing
never wanna go back to
my self-worth, right? So before I was very much a people pleaser.
Yeah.
No, this is what you want. Yeah, sure, of course I'm going to do it. But now I'm getting to the point where, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't do me any good. I don't feel good about myself when this happens, and I'm just going to tell you no.
Is that selfish, though?
No.
Is it selfish to be like, hey, this is my relationship. This is what's most important to me.
No.
And I don't want to. What if I say, by not also cultivating those higher maintenance friendships that you don't care as much about them?
No, because nobody will look out for you but you.
Yeah.
So if you don't protect you, nobody else is going to.
Yeah.
And obviously that friend's not, because they're not respecting enough to understand where you're coming from. But there has to be a transparency, right? I have to say to you, hey, I can't come out with you tonight because I'm really focused on my family today. Or I haven't had a date night this week. I really need to spend time with my family tonight.
Yeah.
And them not to be upset and just be like, oh, well, you just don't have time for me? How do you not have time for me? No, I have this whole family. Or I'm saying to you, hey, I'm struggling this week. Mentally, I'm just really struggling and I just really need to be by myself. But here's the thing too, right? You as the friend, if I'm saying to you, hey, I can't hang out with you because I'm really struggling. If you say, and this is just my opinion, if you say, this really hurts my feelings that every time I try to reach out to you, you're not there for me. Your feelings are still just as valid
Right.
as my feelings of saying, I can't handle this. So what can happen is that I can say, hey, maybe this isn't the best friendship. Or you can say this isn't the best friendship for you. And both can be right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's crazy, right? Because I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that they have to, kind of, because you have those people that get into relationships and they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You never see them. They don't do anything with their friends and they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times it's kind of like, I want to say that's a little bit bad, but then I think about, well, what are they trying to do, right?
But I don't think we're talking about that right now,
Okay,
right?
what are we talking about then?
We're not talking about you're just shutting everybody off.
Okay.
We're just talking about I now have a family and I have children and I'm working a 60, 80-hour work week. My husband's working a 68-hour work week. We have 2 kids that are in extra activities. So I just can't do date nights with you or girls' nights with you 5 days a week.
Yeah.
That's all. I think that's what
I don't
I'm
think there's an
saying.
expectation, I think, with most friends that you have girls' nights or guys' nights 5 days a week. I think a lot of times
No,
it's...
but some are like, oh, if I call you on a Wednesday,
yeah.
you should. But once again, too, I'm also the friend that's like, well, you can just come here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out, but you can come here. You're welcome to come and hang out here with me and my crazy family. But that's the best that I can give you today.
What about people who don't have kids? What if it's just simply, hey, I'm just trying to build my relationship?
What do you mean?
So I think a lot of times, so the idea of the high maintenance relationship and it being your primary romantic relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what if I'm just trying to build upon that relationship, and I feel as though my time is needed to kind of get to know my partner better, or
That's fine.
and that takes away from, and it's really truly not necessarily that I don't have the time or the resources or the ability. It's just so much as though I don't really necessarily want to hang out with you as much because I feel like I need it more over here.
I mean, that's fine if that's what you need in your relationship. I think what it is that you both have to respect each other's feelings. So if I say to you, you're not meeting my expectations, so maybe I'm going to pull back, you need to respect that, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's kind of my thought,
Well,
right?
yeah, no,
Because there has to be this give and take. And I don't have to hate you and be like, oh, Claude's a horrible person. Every time I call him, he's doing things with his wife and he just can't do X, Y, or Z. No, I can say, hey, Claude's just not meeting my needs as a friend, and maybe I need to focus my energy elsewhere. Maybe I need to find a different friend that can fit these
And
needs.
that's interesting because I want to address that because I had a situation with that like that myself before we actually started dating when I didn't have kids or I wasn't married. But I think you mentioned something about expectations, and I think expectations are we learned that expectations is a precursor to anger, right?
Right.
And oftentimes we get upset, or I say anger, but I think also sadness, sorrow, disappointment as well, because I think we have certain expectations of people in relationships that are defined in our head, but not necessarily defined with the individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we do that, all we're doing is setting ourselves up to be disappointed, upset, angry, or sad or disappointed. Because if I say to you, hey, it's important to me that we have our girls' night or our guys' night once a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to me that we have that one-on-one time preset and we do it. But what's more important to me is that I also have time that I prioritize my family, my relationships, and those things as well. This is not a slight to you. This is not a reflection on you. This is just a priority for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of relationships take a big hit as you get older
Mm-hmm.
because, as humans, we're supposed to evolve. Like people say change. You said change earlier. I think it's evolving, right? Because I won't say that I've changed over the last 11 years with you. I think I've evolved. I'm a person that, that still likes to go out and have my drinks, have my guys' nights, do a happy hour. But I also know the next day I probably got to take Olivia to therapy or dance or something crazy like that. So I have to kind of evolve within my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to expectations, I have to say, hey, this is how I expect our friendship to be or our relationship to be. And you almost have to kind of make that agreement. Like, hey, this is how it's going to be. And we will carve time out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be different because friendships and relationships look different from age 15 to 25 to 30 to 35, 40, 50,
depending
60,
on your
100.
responsibilities and what's going on in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people, especially if there's a one side of changes in life, right? If there's a one side where, hey, I was married, wasn't married, and you have kids, and this person doesn't have kids, and they're not married, right? There can be this kind of imbalance in responsibilities that can affect what you're expecting of the other person, especially if you're expecting that person to be the same person they've always been.
Right.
So you really have to go into expectations, define the expectations of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kind of see, like you said, is that going to work out or is it not going to work out?
Yeah.
The example I had was actually before I met you years ago. I had a friend, an old roommate, who lived in Miami at one point. He was a traveler, went around the world, and I moved to Tampa. And he would come visit, but he would never tell me when he was coming. And he always wanted me to focus all my time on him once he was here. But my thing is that I have a life here. I have people who expect me to do things here. And if you're coming in town and not letting me know you're going to be here, it's difficult for me to be able to plan and change everything for you. But hey, you know what you can do is you can come and hang out with me in this group.
Mm-hmm.
If it's important for you to hang out with me, like you said, hey, I can't go out, but come to the house. I am here for you in that respect, but I have now changed how I am normally. I'm not at your beck and call like I used to be.
Right.
You can either take that, or you can move on. And unfortunately, he did choose to move on, and I no longer have that friendship.
Right.
And that's kind of the not sad, but the realistic fact of getting older growing, evolving,
Mhm.
and changing in relationships is that sometimes there's certain people who are going to fall out of your circle. That's why when you're older, your circle gets a lot smaller. I
Yeah,
think.
gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, but yeah, no, absolutely. So it's just really important, I think, when you talk about how you are in a relationship, whether it be a dating relationship or a friendship, that you're setting expectations, but understand that those high maintenance relationships are gonna have to be tweaked.
They can be draining.
They can be draining.
It can be so draining.
Why? What do you mean draining?
It just be draining if you don't set boundaries and say, hey, I just can't do this, and you're constantly trying to meet their expectations of you, and you can't do it. Like, it could just be draining. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Especially since this relationship is probably the most exhausting, short of the kids.
So exhausting.
Short of the kids, because the kids are the most draining. And I tell people all the time, guys, if you don't want, and you know what, I'm going to save this for our advice a little bit later, because this is an interesting topic about kids. But that relationship with our kids is so draining already, and trying to maintain our relationship as husband and wife.
Yeah.
To then now also try to follow after friendships and stuff. And you know, and we use friendships as an example, but family is also one of those high maintenance.
Yeah.
Family may even be more high maintenance, may even be more of a high maintenance relationship than just friends.
Could be.
You know, because you can't choose your family, and your family already has these expectations that you're supposed to be there for them, that you're supposed to be part of their events and part of their things. And a lot of times family is more draining than anything.
Not the truth.
So,
in case anybody was wondering if you're keeping up with it, we just got our third notification for our order is ready at Rock Hall Cafe. Please head to the pickup area to get it. So, listen, if you ordered food at the Rock Hall Cafe and you used my telephone number, it's ready. Please go get it.
we really should tag the Rock Hall Cafe.
I know. I'm like, this is the third message. They're like yelling at this point. Please come pick up your food.
Is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wonder if it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It could be. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Do you want to go there when we go to Ohio?
I knew you were going to ask
Claude's coming.
that.
Claude's going to come this year.
I knew you were going to ask that.
Claude, come on. We can do it.
Ohio.
We're going to do it. We're going to.
Sure. You take me to Gander Mountain or something, right? No, what was it?
We have Gander Mountain here.
What is it that you're going to take me to?
We're going to go to Geneva on the Lake.
Okay, and there was another theme park. You said something, right?
No, I don't want to go to theme park. I don't like theme parks.
What was the name of the theme park?
Cedar Point.
Cedar Point. There you go.
But I don't want to go there.
All right.
I'm too old. I'm afraid of roller coasters now.
Okay, whatever.
Once I got old enough to realize how dangerous they could be, I can't do it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I'm old. I'm old.
Well,
It's
thank
fine.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Well, this is the part of the show that we go and we answer
Let's go.
some unsuspected, or not unsuspected, some poor unfortunate soul on the internet who has some issues that they need advice for. And again, we're not professionals, guys, but we do like to share our experiences. So that's all we're going to do here with this one. So this is from OK-Scientist 3091 or 391.
Can we just that alone? I feel like you could stop there. That's weird. Hyphenated scientist. Is that what you said?
OK-Scientist.
Okay.
-391.
Okay.
Goodness, you're squirrely today.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the title of this one is Partner is Unsure, but We're Still So Young. Hi, all. Apparently my original okay, no, I'm not going to read that. So hi, all. Me, 22 male, partner, 24 female, and I have been together for over 3 years and have built a wonderful relationship after a lot of initial ups and downs. A year and a half ago, I learned that she was against having kids and wanted to experience her own personal freedom and fulfillment instead. At the time, I was on the fence, so I stuck it out. Now I've decided 100% I want kids, and my partner has moved from child-free to riding the fence herself. If she does want kids, she won't want them for at least another 8 to 10 years, and it's a toss-up as to when. Yeah, 8 to 10 as to when or if she'll get off the fence. I personally want them within the next decade. Okay, I've read a lot of posts and similar posts on Reddit, and I've received lots of advice that boils down to if it's not hell yes for kids, then it's a no. It's best to break up and follow your own values instead of wasting time. However, the thing I can't shake is that we're just so young, and her views have shifted over the last year. It's not like we're in our late 20s or early 30s. They think they're so old, and time is running out. Time is running out. That's funny. But at the same time, this is definitely a deal breaker for me. Has anyone else been through this? Does it make sense to stay together with this huge question mark or expiration date hanging over our head? Is it unfair of me to even ask this? Should I be committed enough to wait and hope she changes her mind? Should we both let go and find someone we agree with 100%? I don't see a clear answer, and it's driving us crazy.
We've been together
Woo!
for 11 years, and we still don't have clear answers on anything.
Right. Okay. 22 and 24.
I feel like that's so complex, right? So I think of us. So I was 29 when we met,
Yeah.
and I already had a child who was 6.
Who you had at what, 22?
23.
23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I was fine with not having any more children.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when you and I met, you didn't want children either.
I did not.
You were like, I'm fine. You can have a child. That's fine. I don't want any children of my own. I was like, perfect, great. Let's date, whatever. It wasn't until about a year into our relationship that you're like, oh, maybe I've changed my mind.
Yeah, we had a friend that had a baby. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, she's so cute.
And
nice.
so
Yeah.
I had to make that choice, right?
Yeah.
What do I want to do? Because I was fine with just having one. I didn't necessarily want another child.
Yeah.
I didn't want that responsibility. I had my son at a very young age, and I was kind of at that point where let me just ride this out and be done
Right.
being a parent. But I loved you.
Right.
I loved you a lot. And so that was a decision, right? I had to make. Do I want to have more? But then again, you never put me in that. You were never like, it's do or die. We're having a kid or we're
Right.
separating. You just said, hey, I want a kid. And I was like, okay, I guess we could do that together.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they are kind of young, right? 22, 24 years old.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, I was 23 when I
was
had my
30
first.
when we had our first kid. I got married at 29. You were 32. And,
I was not 32.
however old you were.
Oh my
whatever.
God, I was.
You were 32. Yeah. I was 30 when we had our first kid. When we had the second kid. And so, for my first biological child, so realistically, having kids in your 30s is pretty normal. So that whole before it's too late thing, chill with that, guys, number one.
Yeah. More and more people are having it in their 30s.
More and more people are having kids later in life. And they're also, the science behind when a woman can actually get pregnant and when she should get pregnant is also changing a lot as well. So keep that in mind. But so getting back to your relationship, it is kind of, you mentioned that, if it's not hell yes, then it's a no. And should you still be in a relationship? Should you decide to stay in this relationship when it's a possibility that they don't want a kid and you want one? That's the problem right there. You 100% want a child and they're on the fence, right? And yes, people do change over time. People do change their minds over time. But that's something that's kind of a biggie. Because you never want to ever get someone who does not want something and force them to do something, whether it be buying a new car, a new house, or having a baby, right?
Yeah, but
so you can't. So I'm not saying break up. That's not my point. But my saying it's dangerous territory to be like, oh well, maybe we're just young and they'll change over time. Because what if they don't?
Well, I think every relationship is different.
Right.
So this isn't like hey, let me just ask advice and people can just tell me what to do, because I don't think that's it.
No.
You have to know, because whatever decision you make, there will be consequences for.
Yes.
So you either decide to have this very important conversation with the significant other and say, hey, this is make it or break it for me.
Right.
And maybe they do decide, hey, I can't make you that promise, and then you split up. And then maybe they meet somebody else and they do have a kid with them.
Yeah.
You'll have to live with that consequence. Or they say, hey, I think I do want to. You stay with them, and then you never do have children because they change your mind. You just have to be able to live with
your
whatever
decision.
that decision it is. And it's only yours to make. Only you know how important these things are and whether or not you're feeling it. I think like for you and I, when that came up, I was like, did I really want any more kids? No, I didn't. But did I love you enough? And was it it wasn't a deal breaker for me to have another one either.
Right.
So I feel as if that's why it worked for us. Right. But if I was 100% like I'm never having children, we would have had to break up.
Right. And in this case, one's on the fence and one's 100%. Right. And I don't think you should ever have to convince someone to do something like that. That's something
convinced me.
I didn't convince you to do it. You said, like you said, you could have either had a kid or not had a kid. It was up to you, and you love me enough to do it. So,
Yeah.
so this is the same advice that I guess we'll give to you. If you love them enough if they love you enough to have a kid, even if they're not sure about having a kid, you have to love them enough to be okay with not having kids if you end up not having kids in 8 to 10 years.
But kids are not just we're
Well, they'll
just gonna have
them.
a kid
Right. A lot of
and it's
people
gonna be
think that
fine.
they're not.
No, it's a lot. Our biggest arguments and our biggest disagreements are about parenting.
And I say this with
Without kids, we would have half the problems that we have, and that's not to say that we don't love our children.
and I say this very candidly to anybody listening. Being a parent sucks. It's not easy. The pay sucks. You don't get the appreciation for years. 4 years. They are oftentimes nasty to you. And you focus so much on making sure that they're good that you do forget about your spouse. And you forget about yourself. Can't really forget about work because that's how you pay the bills, right? So kids are so high on your priority list because they are literally your responsibility to take care of, that being a parent sucks.
And it doesn't mean we
And
don't
it's
love
not
them,
always fun. No,
or
and
that we
see, and that's
don't
the
like
thing.
being a parent.
And it doesn't mean that we don't love our kids and we don't like necessarily being a parent. You know, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it, because ultimately after you go through all the crap that sucks, they'll hug you, or they'll give you a from the behind hug and tell you that you're the best daddy in the whole entire world, and then everything else melts away, and you're like, God damn it, that's how they do it. That's how they get
That's how
you.
they get you
right?
every time.
That's how
every time.
literally how this planet procreates is because children have those big old heads and those big old eyes, and they tell you that you're the amazing person in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
You know, but let's be real. Parenting sucks, and it's not easy.
Right. It's not.
Don't believe the hype men on Instagram, guys, that say that this is fun and easy and great. No, it sucks, and it's hard work. It's like going off to war, you know, having kids.
It really is, and I think that they don't focus enough on it, right? Because I feel as if we are raised in which there's an order, right? You get married, you have children, and then that's your happily ever after. What they fail to recognize is that you should first do therapy.
Yeah.
Then you should meet the love of your life. Then you should do more therapy with the love of your life. And then you should have children, because it's so hard. Every step is so hard. And if you're not having these communications, acknowledging all these issues, it becomes even harder. And I don't know, just parenting, it's so hard.
Oh, that's an interesting point, Renee. You know, scientist 369, whatever your name. I'm sorry about that. Well, you know, okay, scientist. Have you even identified what your potential parenting styles are going to be? Because they may not even be compatible.
Right, and do you want to have a child with them? Because I love you.
Yeah.
But we butt heads.
And we created a gremlin.
She is a gremlin.
All of our, she has all the good things of us, but she has a lot of the things that we have to work on too. A lot of opportunities she's developed as well. We have to work on that with her as well.
It's true.
So having a kid is not this simple decision to have. It's something that requires a lot of thought, planning,
Non-stop work.
and you can't expect anything really. So you can plan all you want to. You can,
but they're their
plan it
own
out.
person.
They're their own person.
They're their own person.
And that's why I say it's
We're
hard.
just a guide
It's
for
one
them.
of the things that you cannot expect what's going to happen next. And so if you have somebody who's 50-50 and somebody who's all in, you have to understand that, you know, that's a big decision to make, and you need to figure that crap out. Now, I am not saying you
have to
guys
soul
can't
search for
wait
yourself.
that 8 to 10 years if you want to, but if you're relying on 8 to 10 years that decision, that idea or that want will change,
I feel like there's a lot of other
It's a
things,
lot.
right? Is everything else perfect?
Right.
Except for this one?
Yeah.
Might be worth that.
Right.
If nothing else makes sense, maybe it's time to let that go.
right.
I feel like there's lots of things that you really have to consider.
Also, why the hell are y'all thinking about this right now? Y'all are so young.
I got married at 20 and had my first kid at 23.
Yeah, and I got married at 29 and had my first kid at 30. So there's so many different ways to do it that I guess age is not
But I also
necessarily
got
a factor.
divorced.
That's also true. Oh, yeah, guys. Oh, ho, ho.
I also got divorced.
Things are going pretty good for you guys for 3 years now. Add a kid to it. It's
Yeah.
going to be, I guarantee you, there's
it's
going to be some challenges that you
hard.
didn't
It's
have
hard.
before.
Well, because then your responsibility, this is so true for my first marriage and not for my second, but your responsibility comes more about the child than the spouse.
Yeah.
And
what I
really,
said.
and in all honesty, that wasn't true, right? It should be your spouse.
Right.
It should be your spouse and then your child, because if we are not good, we cannot parent.
Right.
And so if all you do is concentrate on parenting and never your spouse. It just doesn't work. But you also have to have two people that are willing to put in the work to have a good relationship for you to then focus on your child. It's really right, and they don't talk about that.
No.
We don't talk about that. You're not raised to think you see like Cinderella or all these really weird like love stories in which no, you just fall in love and things are just perfect, and it doesn't work like
Well,
that.
people focus a lot on. I think nowadays people are focusing a lot more on premarital planning or premarital therapy or all of that good stuff. Nobody really talks about preparental.
No.
No.
And
Nobody
they
thinks
should.
about, how should I really, let me discuss how we're going to raise these kids together.
Right.
How are
Right.
we still going to focus on us as a couple, raise our kids?
Right.
Because ultimately those kids will leave you and you're going to be stuck as two people.
And then what?
And I'll tell you right now, if you have somebody
But-
that didn't want kids and they had to raise kids for 18 years,
how
that's
many-
going to be a strain on your relationship.
But how many people are just getting divorced at that point?
At 30? And
No, but when their kids go off, right? Because
Oh,
they've
yeah.
just been staying together. Their main priority is the kids. So when the kids leave, then they just get divorced.
right.
And then you just started
You
holding
hear it
life.
all the time. I don't know if millennials do it as much as the boomers did, staying together just for the because I think divorce rates with millennials are a lot higher than they were in boomers when
Maybe.
around the child raising ages. But why put yourself? It's just
Yeah.
this
No,
is
I
not
hear you.
answering your question directly.
Yeah.
Okay, scientist, but I'm telling you right now, there's a lot to consider. It's not as simple as what should I do, what shouldn't I do. You need to talk to your spouse and determine what's going to be important for the both of you.
Yeah.
And if it does also,
And there is no right or wrong answer.
there is no right or wrong answer.
It's different for everybody.
But there are choices.
There are consequences too.
And every choice has a consequence.
Mhm.
And you have to be okay living with those consequences,
That's
good
true.
or bad. And you cannot blame your spouse. And they cannot blame you.
Well,
If
they
ultimate-
can, but
They can. But ultimately, if you wanted kids and they didn't, and you had kids, they can't blame you because they made the decision to have kids. And you can't be mad at them if you ultimately make the decision to not have kids.
but holding under resentment is a real thing.
Holding on to resentment is a real thing. But
It's really hard.
these are all things you have to consider when you
You know
go
what
into
I
having kids.
recommend?
What?
Therapy.
Therapy. There you go.
Couples therapy.
Couples therapy.
We do like couples therapy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, wow. What a good show.
So can I end with something in preparation for our next podcast?
Sure.
If you are a parent of a teenager that's graduating this year, how are you doing? I need to know. How are you doing? What are you preparing? What are these conversations looking like? Because we don't know if we're going to make it.
Who is this person that you're like right now?
We don't know if he's going to make it. So I would like to know, parents out there with teenagers that are graduating high school, how is that going for you?
What is this, like a personal liability insurance lawyer commercial? If you or any of your spouses have been affected by a teenager, please call. You may be entitled to compensation.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing because I need to know. I need to know because we should create a support group.
A support group.
Mhm.
Or
That's what I'm trying. I'm
we should
trying to
start
create a
suing our
support group.
teenagers.
No.
They don't have anything.
I'm
though.
just trying to create a support group. So if you have a teenager that's graduating this year, just know I see you.
If you have a teenager that's,
We see
anything
you
this
and we
year.
will support you and we understand.
we do.
We understand. So let's talk about it. Our next.
Oh, we're going to talk about the teenager? Oh, we never talk about him.
I know, but we're going to talk about
Ooh.
what it's like to trying to prepare a teenager, what comes next, that hard love.
You know, I'm so excited. She never comes up with the
Mm.
themes for the shows, ever. You're inspired now. I might have created a monster.
No, but I want people to also comment. Like, I need to know,
Yeah.
what are other people doing? I'm
Absolutely.
curious.
Also, don't have kids.
No, if you want kids, then have them.
But if you don't want them, don't have them.
Don't have them if you don't,
Don't
want them.
have them if you don't
I
want
know.
them.
So Claude made a comment today to his mom about how we were going to die when we were 100, surrounded by our great-grandchildren. And I said, I don't want great-grandchildren. I don't even want grandchildren. Have dogs.
I want
Don't have kids.
Listen, I'm going through this kid,
I don't want
this parenting
grandkids.
thing.
I do not
no,
want grandkids.
I'm going through this parenting thing so I can have grandkids.
I don't want grandkids.
Do
I
you
want
know
grand
how-
dogs. I want grand
See, you're
dogs.
messing up. Before we get out of here, I got to say this. The relationship between grandparents and their grandchildren,
It's better.
that's the thing. That's the
Better.
gold spot right there. See, we thought this parenting thing was good. No, it's the grandparent. You have almost none of the responsibility and damn near all the praise. You be looking at the grandparents like, who are you? you?
Oh, today your
Who
mom
are
said,
you?
no, I got her that candy to send home with you. I said, wait,
Why did you get
did
her
I hear you
candy?
correctly? You got her candy to send at my house, and now you're mad that that candy ended up all over your house?
And what you don't understand is we explicitly say don't buy her candy.
She becomes a little crazy.
Good God. Oh, my God, y'all. We need to go have some brunch or something
We
to
need
calm our nerves.
Oh, that sounds so good, brunch.
All right, guys, if you're listening to us, make sure that you like and share. You can find us on Spotify for podcasters and any other streaming service that does podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts.
Check out
all
our
of those.
TikTok. It's pretty cool.
Yes, check out our TikTok at Before the Kids Wake Up. Also, Instagram at Before the Kids Wake Up and Facebook at Before the Kids Wake Up. Yo, I'm tired. I'm going to get out of here. I'm Claude.
I'm Renee.
And this has been Before the Kids Wake Up.
BD Protections.